My 29F friend, 29F, is worried about a family member's upcoming procedure and has told me she is going to bother me all day when the time comes. I want to be supportive, but not bothered all day. My really good friend has been talking about her family member's procedure for a long time now, and it's finally coming up. She has said for a while now that on the day of she was going to blow up my phone with texts and messages, essentially to calm her nerves and keep her mind off the procedure. On a regular day she usually sends me a bunch of messages on nearly every social media app. I've muted her on a few because I get distracted and it disrupts me from working. We both have an office job and we're both currently working from home, though she tends to be one of those people who has a hard time actually working while at home and does other stuff, but I digress. In regards to her being nervous about the procedure, I have offered my support by talking to her on multiple occasions prior about the procedure, reassuring her the doctors know what they're doing, etc., letting her know she could text me the day of and also letting me know when it was over. I also suggested some things for her to do while she waited to help take her mind off the procedure and waiting. Is there some other way I can let her know without sounding like a bad friend that I don't want to be on the receiving end of nervous text after text? Not only do I not want to take on her nervous energy, but if I see multiple messages from her I will feel inclined to respond right away and it will affect my work. Too long didn't read. My friend's family member is having a procedure soon and she's nervous about it. On the day of the procedure she said she is going to bother me all day. I have been and want to continue being supportive, but don't want to and can't afford to be bothered all day. Whenever my best friend and I are in a nervous/uncomfortable situation we tell each other that we can text one another constantly to seem busy or to feel distracted. It doesn't mean the other person has to respond. We just have a safe outlet with one another. This is something that is pre-arranged so that we can mute each other if needed. You need to be honest, sending her a bunch of suggestions on how to keep busy, after you told her she can text you the day of and without providing her context that you're sending the suggestions because you don't want to be one of her options for keeping distracted, isn't going to help either of you. Hey, just FYI, if I don't respond to your texts immediately it's because I'm happy to but I just wanted to let you know I can't/won't be the best person to I'll when I can. In other words, just be civil but honest about what you can/can't do. Can you just not respond right away? I feel like you're being a little unfair to your friendship. If I had a friend who just wanted to blow up my inbox because they were having a rough day or nervous or whatever, I'd just ignore a lot of it and respond maybe to only the most recent thing they said when I have time. Some people just need to unload on a friend as an outlet. You may be overthinking it to assume she expects responses in full to every little thing she says. I would just be honest with her. Hey, friend, I want to be there with you but I also really need to be sure that my performance isn't slipping at work. I can respond to messages before work, at lunch, and sometime after work, but just FYI that for a lot of the day my phone will be on silent. Guess I need to be a bit more direct with her. I've only hinted at it before. Thanks. How good of a friend is she, usually? Is she someone who is there for you when you need a friend? If so, sometimes you just have to suck it up and be a friend. Tell work that a friend is going through something that day. You don't have to go into specifics, life happens, so hopefully they'll be understanding. After this is all done, give it some time and then address any issues you have. If she does this on an ongoing basis, address that at that point. My 20F boyfriend, 22 meters, doesn't seem bothered that we don't spend enough time together. I'm sick of this. I'll try to keep this short. My boyfriend of almost 2 years and I haven't been able to see each other as much. He works and has a very time-consuming hobby, and I'm attending med school. My life has changed a lot over the past few months. Just started med school actually, but it feels like he doesn't care to try to be a part of my new life. Whenever I tell him about the new exciting things I'm doing, he says he doesn't know what to say because I'm in a field that is so far removed from what he does. But at the same time he calls me almost daily just to rant about his job. Needless to say, I always try to ask him questions about it and try to give him advice. Seeing him only once a week has been also challenging to me. I truly believe he has time to see me more. For example, he could ask me to spend the weekend together, but that seems highly unlikely, given that he prefers to say goodbye to me before noon in the morning after we've had a date. I just don't know what to do, or if I should feel this lonely and sad. I'm longing and hoping to see him all week, and he just doesn't really care. He's just fine. Am I wrong to be upset? Any comments or advice? Too long didn't read. Boyfriend doesn't make an effort with me anymore. Sorry, but to me it sounds like he's trying to spend more time with himself. You've been together since he was 20, and you 18. This really is quite young, though I'm sure it doesn't feel like it. He may not know that you want to spend more time with him, or that it negatively affects you when you spend so little time together. Definitely communication is key here. If he doesn't know what to ask about your job, coach him. Ultimately, if his behavior doesn't change, he's kinda showing you where his priorities are. But sometimes that's just what happens in relationships, with young people or old. Yup, that's what happens sometimes. I'm pretty realistic. Thank you for your input, really. Sounds selfish to me. I don't care if you were a traveling carnival worker. Your partner should be interested in your life. Are removed? Inquire. Wow. Go find better and focus on yourself. Why would you choose traveling carnival worker as an example of a boring job? It sounds super interesting. Many people are going over the relationship part, but I want to highlight two things. 1. Your relationship is whatever you desire it to be, and it is above all things, it's voluntary. So if you're fundamentally incompatible in terms of communications needs, there's that. 2. I notice we're not vague about what you're doing, but we are vague about him. Med school, hard as it is, represents the pinnacle of what most kids aspire to. Meanwhile, he's complaining about his job. On the maybe it's workable side, you may want to consider the cognitive dissonance between him hating his job and you loving your work is on some level emotionally stressful to him. That's not to say you should drop it, but that he may be dealing with emotions 180% from where you are. Outside of drive, most other professions don't really start with respect built in, and he's about 10 years away from being listened to, if indeed he even has a career. So if it's perhaps this sort of whiplash, it may be he needs to address it either in the form of job hunting or working through it so your excitement isn't painful for him. Relationships are partnerships, and sometimes they simply find themselves on rocky ground due to circumstances. Wow, thanks. I was pretty vague in my post, but what you said makes so much sense for our situation. He's actually changed a lot after starting this job, exactly because he's doing very poorly in it. He's doing his best, but still. I'll definitely keep that in mind going forward. Girlfriend's 25F weight is causing a riff in the relationship I 26M have with her. We've dated 4 years. It's not even on some meat-headed thing about me being on her case and dragging her to the gym. I'm very much live and let live. Everyone's body is their own choice. That being said, I just don't like how there's no consistency with her and her arguments and her views on it. Yes, she's put on a considerable amount of weight in the past 3 to 4 years. Where I get tripped up and where the fights start is she swings so rapidly between. I'm overweight, but that's fine. My body is my choice. Deal with it. And then 8 minutes later she's texting or calling me begging me to help her get in shape. As soon as I start to help, she decides this is too hard and gets back on the I'm overweight, that's fine, and you'd be a jerk if you broke up with me mindset. I just wish we had a solid, cemented stance of either help me lose weight or I'm overweight and that's okay. I have no intention of leaving her over it, I'm just frustrated her narrative shifts every 10 minutes. Too long didn't read. My girlfriend's indecisiveness about her body is causing fights. I have, at times, wanted to lose weight and get in better shape. I found that my partner trying to help me do this was overwhelming, and I associated them with the daunting task of weight loss. I am having a lot of success in losing weight right now with my current partner, and how he treats the situation is ideal for me. 1. He treats me exactly the same as before, frequently complimenting my appearance but not specifically mentioning weight. 2. He gets really hype about my progress in terms of the effort I have put in. Having the effort recognized rather than the result is a lot more positive for me. 3. He never brings up weight loss, eating healthier, etc. He just expresses his support for whatever choices I want to make. Like if he wants pizza and I say it doesn't fit in my calories for the day, then he suggests we eat something healthier. If I suggest pizza, he is not going to say, "Don't you think we ought to eat at home?" Both can be supportive depending on the person, but the last phrase personally would stress me out and make me feel overwhelmed and judged. 4. Completely non-judgmental when I cheat or slack. Cheating or slacking is part and parcel of long-term changes. I've lost 10 pounds in the past 2 months and it feels quite sustainable. Smiley face. The silent background support, to me, is a lot healthier for me. Maybe you could suggest to her that you honestly think she looks great and it is up to her if she wants to make any lifestyle changes. You are going to be there to support her and do whatever she wants to do, but you aren't going to be the driver. Depending on your financial situation, maybe you guys can agree to pay for a personal trainer or nutritionist to help her get started. Losing weight varies from person to person. She needs to have the mindset and discipline to follow through her weight loss plans. The only way to help her is to keep encouraging her and never show any negativity. Give her a compliment or perhaps a white lie she lost some weight. Show her exercises and don't go too hard. Baby steps is the best way. If she gives you any negativity, turn it into a positive. I make it a point to never mock, bash, bring up in a malicious way her weight, her body. I know negativity won't help. Your girlfriend is ashamed of her body. When someone is operating from a place of shame, it's often easier to ignore the problem, do nothing or give up, or pretend that they're happy the way they are. I say this as a fat woman. It's only by learning to appreciate my body and its functionality and beauty that I'm learning to treat it well through consistent exercise and eating to fullness rather than feeling stuffed. When you're operating from shame, weight loss is punishment for the sin of being fat. But that's not true at all. Feeding your body a variety of food that make you feel good and moving your body joyously are gifts you can give your body. Unfortunately, your girlfriend needs to get to that place on her own. This doesn't sound like a weight problem, maybe emotional. She sounds like she could benefit from therapy. It's unlikely she'll make any changes without some assistance, preferable professional. There's probably a lot to unpack here. You could set the tone yourself, whether she starts in on either side of the coin. Keep your response simple and to the point. It's your body, I'm with whatever you choose to do. ETA, sounds like she's struggling internally, and until she gets that worked out the cycle continues. If one ever gets their internal struggles worked out. I wouldn't take it personally though, easy to say. I agree with everything you're saying. The roadblock is, she flip-flops to both sides of the coin. I can't get an answer out of her. There've been times where it'll be like on a Sunday she decides to start dieting, exercising. On a Monday morning walk, she decides to do away with the diet/exercise and go back to the sedentary lifestyle.